The PCIA established an Innovation and Technology Council recently, and it's a reconstitution of a technology council that existed before. But we focused it on industry issues, attacking industry issues that we can identify that are major issues within the industry. For example, backhaul, small cells, street furniture, things like that. And so we've established working groups to address each of those elements that are hindering the deployment of, say, small cell and DAS. And so consequently, in next month, we're going to meet in LA. Well, I guess it's this month. We're meeting in LA and at the HeadNet Forum, at the last day of the HeadNet Forum. And we're going to be presenting the 3 white papers that we've developed in the past 6 months. A number of the companies have allowed their people to participate in this development of the white papers. And again, the white papers are on backhaul, which includes fiber and microwave and copper as well. Also street furniture, mounting and zoning and planning on street furniture. And lastly, small cell and DAS. So we'll be presenting that, and then subsequent to that, we've got an aggregation of industry experts and industry C-level people that are going to stay, and we're going to discuss some of the technical and political issues having to do with the deployment of small cells. Right now, small cells, the economic equation is a very difficult one in that the zoning and planning and the permitting processes are exceptionally complex and cumbersome, and which equates into expense. So the expense in the budgets that were planned initially, like for example AT&T's budget, they did not anticipate the schedule delays and the expense associated with zoning and planning.
And so you talked a little bit about it, but so what are your biggest takeaways from the first 6 months of these case studies?
Well, the first 6 months, I'm very encouraged by the participation in the industry companies. They've allocated resources to address these issues. And the overall effort is to attack each one. We're going to identify the low-hanging fruit that the ITC can address from a technical perspective and also from a policy perspective, and then approach each one of them to see if we can't reduce the costs and encourage deployment of small cell and DAS. I know using those 2 terms in the same sentence is not politically correct, but for this, we'll do that.
Fair enough. So what are some of the challenges that you face? You said expenses, but what else?
Well, the deployment of small cells, you've got to have power to the site, you've got to have backhaul. Now, you've got to have a high-capacity backhaul. The small cells are also carrier-specific, meaning, you know, the ones for Verizon won't work for AT&T, et cetera, et cetera. So companies like hotels and such, they would prefer to have a neutral host DAS system or small cell system that to where they don't have to deploy all these antennas internally. Whereas the carriers would prefer to have single carrier DAS systems or small cells in hotels and locations like that. We're still at a stage in the industry where we prefer not to share infrastructure.